Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Nerd Tube. I'm here with my usual cohort, cousin Cheeto, and we're talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. Yes, that's right, the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. Now, the person I think his name was Pattison Films or something along those lines. I do apologize. I vaguely remember all of this bollocks now, but at the time, word was going around that there was an edited version of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series condensed into a 2.5 hour movie, and it was making its way around the interwebs. It was only there for really people who have seen the series and have got Disney Plus. You don't have to have seen the series, but you must have Disney Plus. And myself and Cheeto have Disney Plus, so we kind of abided by the rules. Unfortunately, the film has been taken down, but we did manage to download it before it got taken down, and we have just finished watching it right now. And there was a lot of praise for this particular movie, but I have to say that it's just okay personally. I think it is definitely better than the series overall. You can make this, and it's really what I found very impressive is that you do get people saying that certain things should be shaved down and just made into 3 or 4 episodes instead of 5 or 6. Well, in this particular case, 6 episodes was made into a 2.5 hour movie, and we saw how it can be done. And it was okay. Cheetah, before we start breaking this down and talking about certain elements of it, what did you think of it?
I agree with you. I thought it was okay. It definitely was better than the show. They still left some stuff in there that I really wish they would have cut out. Um, but yeah, we can get into the breakdown and everything and talk about it. But I agree with you. It was okay, but better than what we got.
Yeah, for sure. There were like certain elements in the series that not many people liked, like the kidnapping of Leia. The way that was edited was so
Perfect.
much better. It was perfect. Like she met Flea. Flea said that she's going to kidnap her, and then she did get kidnapped. No stupid chase around the woods like some sort of Tom and Jerry sort of hijinks, caper bollocks. It was nothing like that.
Yeah.
Much better. Also, what was removed was the river scenes from on Tatooine, where she was trying to attack the last family and kill Luke Skywalker. All of that gone. Reva's last moments in the film was when she got stabbed by Darth Vader. So it was like history repeating itself. With apparently that's what happened to her when she was a youngling, and she managed to survive that. But this particular time around, she didn't, and we saw the Grand Inquisitor, the original one, come back to
No
take his rightful
redemption.
place. And no real redemption as well, because she did obviously want to get revenge on Darth Vader, but revenge is a trait very common with the Sith, so that made sense. And
Hmm.
Reva herself was just so much better in this film. Her whole portrayal, like you know, um, she she came across as a person who had issues and had her own agenda, but she was still an evil person. There was no coming back from what she had become, and it's tragic in a way, but that's life. Unfortunately, Darth Vader was still very good about it in this. Oh, I mentioned that earlier. Her scenes are still in this, much more palatable this time round. And what I just found amazing was knowing so much of this film, sorry, so much of this series, and seeing it all in 2.5 hours. It was remarkable what this guy pulled off. It really was. Um, I credit him for doing something like this. I really do. And I'm very happy to have watched this. If anything, Cheeto, I would have probably wished I never saw the series and just saw this instead. You know what I mean? because
Well, and they made this into they made Obi-Wan into a series instead of a movie because they were trying to sell Disney Plus. That's exactly what it
yeah,
was. I mean, you could definitely see where this could have been a movie. And I mean, as I said, I feel like this would have been much more well received if it was a feature length film. And honestly, I feel like there were some parts in the middle for me, like from episodes 3 and 4, and even or
yeah,
no, yeah, like 3, 4, and 5 that you could have trimmed down even more, and it could have been like a two, like more along the lines of a 2 hour movie. Like
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know that it would have had to have had some fancy editing, but like going to like Vader's base on the water world, honestly, like I feel like we could have cut that whole part out if we could have done some editing where Reva did not take Leia from the one from the previous episode. I felt like we probably could have found some way to just cut that whole part out. Maybe, as I said, it would have taken some fancy editing, but
Well, this has got me thinking now. Like, there are so many shows out there which which are probably longer than they should be. That could be condensed into 2.5 hour, 2 to 2.5 hour movie. If this guy can do this with Obi-Wan, I would love to see what other people can do with all the other projects. Like Ms. Marvel, for instance. I would love somebody to grab those 6 episodes and turn it into a 2 hour movie.
yeah, God, you could. I mean, episodes 4 and 5, we've said it during our reviews. 4 and 5, you could trim the majority of those episodes down and probably been fine.
I hate to say it, but even episode 2, which I didn't enjoy, it was just a slice of life episode. There was just so much fluff in there regarding, just being, just like the family life and all of that, that they could have just removed a lot of that. It just got straight into the meat and bones. But then again, the meat and bones of it, which is the more Marvel aspect of it, was the least interesting part. It was the most interesting part was just the day-to-day life of her family and her community. So it'll be interesting to see if they could ever pull something like that. But that, Loki, WandaVision, I'd love to see all of these shows.
WandaVision, I don't know if you could trim down. Loki,
it's
maybe
9 episodes, yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think would be hard and get the same impact. I feel, yeah, but I mean, it would definitely be interesting to see their take on certain projects that might be able to trim down to just a 2.5 hour movie, 3 hour movie, maybe even 2 hour movie if it's a lot of fluff.
Just think about Falcon Winter Soldier. Like very early on in episode 1, Sam Wilson gives up the shield and puts it into a museum because it belongs in a museum. And but between that and the ending of the episode where you finally see John Walker with the shield and stuff as the new Captain America, they could have pretty much cut from that scene to maybe 5 minutes later to the John Walker getting the shield scene, and like that, just like cut out. There's so much to cut out. But yeah, like once again, I really would love to see this treatment done to so many other shows now. This is a trend. I'm very much interested in seeing continue.
Well, they've always said that a lot of these Disney Plus shows, like the big name, like Obi-Wan, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a lot of these 6 episode series are just really long movies. They are shot like movies and then just cut into episodes. Is what they say. Now I know some of them like WandaVision and like some of them do have that episodic format that kind of lends itself to episodic, like What If. But I feel like movies like Kenobi are filmed like a movie and then just cut into different, parts. And I know that there are definitely episodic elements of it, like episodes 3 and 4 and 5 have very episodic because you're on a different planet each episode in Kenobi. But I really feel like
definitely Moon Knight. They could do this.
Oh yeah, I would love to see them do this with Moon Knight. I feel like Moon Knight. Moon Knight was very good. It's still one of my favorite Disney Plus Marvel shows, but I really feel like it would be very interesting to see how they, like what they cut and how they cut it.
Yeah, exactly. But going on to this particular, back to this again, but I don't want people thinking that we're sidetracking. What I liked about it more was just me appreciating the person who did this and their craft. Like, there's a scene with a Jedi in the first episode, and this is the same Jedi we saw who stops the dagger from going into the Sabudan's face, which was thrown by Reva, and this person gets away, and then he meets up with Obi-Wan. That's what happens in the series. This time round, this Jedi meets up with Obi-Wan first, and then later on we see him in the saloon, stopping the dagger from getting hit, and then Reva kills him in the saloon. And just like we saw in the series with his body hanging from the sort of rooftop, so to speak. This time around, because he's been killed by Reva, and the swipe has hit his head, we see a decapitated body hanging from the rooftops. It was just brilliant.
Oh
Just
yeah, it
minor
was.
little details.
I even went while we were watching. I went back and looked, and so like I'm like, yeah, man, there was a head there and everything before. So whoever did that, and that's excellent because it streamlined that whole part, and it didn't lose what the spirit of that part was supposed to be. You know, them tracking down the Jedi and killing them.
Exactly. And as I said before, Reva was just so much better in this. She is a villainous character, and I very much appreciated her being a villainous character. So when they gave her the redeeming mark in the series, I was very disappointed because for some reason in Star Wars they love redeeming Sith. They've done it with Ben Solo, they've done it with Anakin Skywalker, and now they're doing it with Reva, and I just got fed up with that. You know what I mean? Just keep these guys as baddies. I very much liked Reva as a baddie. I appreciated her whilst everyone else was losing their shit because a black woman was in a show. Like they've never seen a black woman in a show before.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. I was just more upset that she got redeemed. That was what pissed me off
Yeah,
the
it was.
most.
We were more upset about the way she was written, not about who was playing
Yeah,
the character.
and as I said before, people get pissed off that black people tend to be good guys all the time in television. And this time you have a black person who happens to be a woman as well playing a villain, and the motherfuckers are still not happy. So, but and
And
like I
she
said,
did such a good job at it too. As I said in the
yeah, she was
series, the
really
only
good.
thing Yeah, the only thing was that redemption arc is what we ever had an issue with. So, and I feel like this version of Obi-Wan Kenobi actually fixed that whole thing. Like I feel like it gave her the proper send off that that her character deserved.
Yep, she still had a fight with Vader. She still lost with her fight with Vader, but that
But
was it. Once she
but
got,
she still
once
looked
she,
good doing it.
yep, and when she got stabbed, that was it. That was her over with. Seeing that she got played all along, unfortunately, by Vader, who kind of knew that the betrayal of, knew that she was a youngling, and knew that she would try to attack him. He was always aware of this. He was one step ahead of her, and had his original Grand Inquisitor ready to take over from where she left off. So yeah, I very much appreciated all of that. The Sith, they always try to fuck with each, they try to fuck with each other as much as possible. So I very much appreciated that as well. This like I said, I did hear a lot of people, speak very positively of this, saying it was fucking brilliant and this, that, and the other. No, not for me. It wasn't fucking brilliant.
It was
You know,
better,
for,
but yeah.
yeah, it's better. It's condensed. Like I said before, I only wish I never saw the series and watched this because then I might appreciate it a lot more than knowing I watched the series, which left a bad taste in my mouth because it just wasn't good enough. You know, um, it was a bit too bubblegum, which is pretty much Disney in a nutshell, really.
Mm.
Post Phase 4, all their stuff that's coming out, whether it be Marvel or Disney, bubblegum as fuck. And yeah, Obi-Wan, which was supposed to be their crown jewel. A lot of people were banking on this show, and never really ended up being that great. And unfortunately for me, even though I tried to put that out of my head, you've seen the same scenes reoccur, you know, in this movie. And even though it's edited, certain things are edited out and stuff like that, like Obi-Wan, I have to say, Ewan McGregor is a fantastic actor. There were times his acting was below par in this, and some of the scenes, I think maybe the episode 5 scenes, kind of exposed that a little bit. So yeah, but nevertheless, I'm gonna give this my marks now. I'm gonna be very generous. I'm gonna be extremely generous, Cheeto, and that generosity is a 7 out of 10, and that's a very, very generous. I really should go 6, which is still above average. But I'm gonna go 7 because I'm giving this mark not for the show, but for the editor, who, once again, I hope starts a trend that will make all these series into 2 to 2.5 hour movies in the future. But I would love to see. This is something I really want to see more of in the future. I really do. So yeah, make it happen. Make it so, as Picard would say. What about yourself, Cheetah?
7's fine. I mean, if we're rating on editing, then I would go an 8. Like if we're judging on the editing and the style and everything like that, I'd go an 8. But like if I was watching this independently of the Obi-Wan series, I mean, yeah, I would give it a 7. I mean, if I just watched this movie in the theaters and I came home, that's what I would give it. But I'd give it an 8 based on the editing and stuff and what he did as well as he could with what he had to work with.
I agree. Do you think this will start a trend? Do you think the trend will begin
Maybe
because of
I don't.
this?
People do these every now and then. Some of them get some traction online, but I mean, this isn't the first one of these that people have brought out. But maybe, hopefully,
There's so many shows that could be dealt need this treatment, in my opinion. So, and if you can condense a show, like 6 episodes, like 6 hours into 2.5 or 2 hours, then you might make it more watchable
marketable.
for certain people, marketable. Yeah, but people might want to watch it. And okay, I can't do 6 hours. I can't binge all this shit. Might not be my cup of tea. But I'm willing to give it 2.5, 2 hours. So yeah. All right. So that's pretty much our review of this. Watching it again in a different format. Yeah, it was definitely educational. I would definitely say that. All right. Thank you very much, cousin Cheeto, and everyone else out there. Let us know if you've seen this movie, what you think of it, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you ever heard of. Take care. Bye bye.